It's absolutely the best moment of my Everton time was Dominic scoring that header, and one of the best moments of my career.
The first thing I want to know, where did you learn to be a manager?
What I basically did, I went through the FA courses, which were helpful, and then I was enjoying working in the media. I met the Derby owner by chance because of my uncle, and he said, "Do you want to interview for this job?" I was like, "Yeah." You know, when you take a step in life, sometimes you go, "Yeah." But do I know I want to do this? Am I really going to do this? You just, well, I'll go with it. I'll go with it. So I sat 2 hours, chit chat, offered the job. And then I'm sitting in my kitchen with my wife going like, which way is we going to go here? So I took the job, and when you say how did you learn, I kind of learned on the job.
Okay.
So I had experience of being a player, which was great, but about 20% of that relates, because from being one of the 20 in a meeting room listening to your manager, when you're the one delivering a meeting, completely different. The amount of questions you get that you never thought about as a player, you know, what time do you want to travel on Friday? Do you want the team to wear tracksuits? Do you want this? Do you want that? Do you want that? And I'm going, and when you say like you learn on the job, I was kind of going, leave at 12:30? That could work. You know what I mean? And there are so many of those. Yeah. And then there are so many of the tactical, technical things that you make mistake after smaller mistake, and you think, I actually did it right there. You lean on a lot of people.
You seem to have made that's a really strong connection with Everton Football Club in general and Everton's fan base in particular. Yeah. What's led to that?
I think it's a mixture of circumstances coming together. Because when I first came to the club, it was a tough time on footballing levels, and probably a breakdown somewhere. Actually, in many parts between fans and the club itself, and you know, Evertonians will know more about that than me even. So I walked in,
and I'm an Evertonian.
So I know. So I'm guessing you do. So when I came in, I knew that it was important to try and build that bridge again, and then from there it just kind of grew. And I think it needs to be those things, particularly in the Liverpool area, and I think with Everton, they need to be authentic, because as far as I see it, Evertonians will see through you very quickly if you fake it, you know. So I just threw myself into the job, threw myself into the club. Fortunately, met so many great people within the club. Like this club is, I don't know how unique it is, but from where I've worked previously, it felt different. Is that probably about 80% of people who work here are Evertonians. Like at the training ground, there's tattoos everywhere. You know, like so it gets you.
Do you want to see? No.
Yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah, okay. But it does get you, and well, it got me. Is what I'm trying to say. So, you know, I felt very comfortable, very quickly, very well supported, and the fans, what they were doing and coming to the games early and supporting the players.
It's a real management task, isn't it? You go into a new football club or a new business, it's down, it's not performing well. What kind of managerial things did you bring to bear?
We took the staff out for a big dinner about 2 weeks into Liverpool. And I was surprised when I did it, because I sat next to various people on the night, and we all mixed about a little bit, and they were saying, "We haven't done this for ages, how great is this? Just having a beer." And then it made you realise that football is always, and probably for me, business and life is about people first and foremost. If you don't get that bit right, then and that's something I think a lot of players go into management have to really work out really quickly, because when you're a player, you're just a bit selfish and individual. Not selfish, but you don't care about it. And when you're a manager or a coach, you have to think about the group and the other sides that you've never considered before. And I feel like we've done a pretty good job to this point.
It's a long time since there's been such an optimism about the club. He's a red, by the way, which is...
Stay quiet, I realise that.
It's not... I apologise, But I took him along to the Derby game. You sensed there's just a buoyancy.
In that year off I listened to a lot of podcasts, I spoke to a lot of good managers and leaders. I would have said, well, how have you been successful? Multiple winners of titles, whatever. And now I thought they would say, my tactics, this, that. And they all spoke about environment and people and all these things. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like sometimes my wife tells me all the time, your face shows that you're not happy. Like and I'm fine. Do you know what I mean? But I'm just, you know. So I sometimes have to check myself on that. Because I think in having breakfast every day, you could quickly get a tone of he's not happy. But then, so other members of staff have to be the happy one, the jokey one, the one that will have a quiet word with you in a different tone. So I've got that in my staff. We've got a mixture of experience, young, hungry. We're all very hungry. But the big thing for me is to have a happy staff from ourselves. This job, for me, will give you a lot of problems. A lot of, you know, like maybe every job, I don't know, there's always things to solve. And sometimes there's no win. You know, like you look at a problem and you go, there's that or there's that, and both of them are pretty bad, but I've got to choose one of them. You know, like a day to day.
Yeah.
So if you can't be happy in the office, then you, in the end, you'll be pulling your hair out. So
the spotlight that you are under, I mean, how do you cope with that? I mean, how do you segment things and become who you want to be?
I've been used to that for a long time. As a player even. As a manager, it becomes much more because you just take on a lot more responsibilities in your job. So it becomes much more clustered. I find a nice balance of my job, being here, being focused, and then coming away and being with my family when I can. That's probably the one strain. The rest of it's manageable.
How do you decide what to do like every day? So you'll often say, well, that's they obviously did that on the training pitch. You know, like some like intricate.
Oh, in the commentary. Straight from the training.
How do you decide to do that? You turn up and go, we're doing this today.
What you do need when you go into this job is you need a basic, and they call it on the coaching badge, your philosophy. Like and everybody now is the same. Great football, high press, win the ball back, loads of energy. Like everyone says, but what does that actually mean? So once you've got that, then you can decide what you want to be, which means, okay, this is the kind of training, and you work with your staff. And I think preparation is key. If you're not prepared for training the day before, or on top of yourself, and then that seeps out to the players, and you have your meetings, and you're not prepared. Like my job as a player used to be try and perform well and score a goal or something to affect a game. My job now as a manager is how do you get them in the best position to go and win that game, which means
mentally,
in all senses, in all senses, physically, mentally. But the more you work, you keep trying to work with a simple idea that then the players, you get them in the positions, and I can't tell Anthony Gordon how to cut inside and put it on in the top corner at certain moments. That will be him. He will do that himself.
And your best moment, I mean, probably Dominic's header.
From 2 down, can Everton complete the impossible? Gray's ball in! You have the answer!
I saw you go mad on the touchline.
It's absolutely the best moment of my Everton time was Dominic scoring that header, and one of the best moments of my career. From being 2-0 down, and it was relegation, staying in the league was critical to this game. Second half, we go 2-1, we go 2-2, and Dominic scores at 3-2 with like 6 minutes to go. But it was the elation of the moment and the elation of the final whistle on that evening where, I mean, I've been fortunate as a player. I won at Chelsea a lot. And
just a bit.
Yeah, we won a lot. And the Champions League was always quoted as the best night of my life. And I pretty much matched it. It was like a pressure cooker for all of us. And fans, I knew how they felt because I felt it for 4 months when I came in. And the elation of it was something that I had never experienced. And it was, I was delighted for so many people that we just managed to get over the line.
Watches, I mean, we know you're a fan of watches. I mean, what type of watches do you tend to go for?
Definitely, as I've aged up, I've sized down in my watches.
And you're also, well, it may not just be to do with age, it's also a big trend in watches.
As I say, the older I've got, and I probably will, you do dress smart and you're more casual, and that kind of flush look I love.
This is also a very interesting watch. You are one of very few people this is a pre-production, it's not yet released watch, which we've had in development for about 3 years. We're calling it the Bel Canto. In watchmaking, the hardest thing to do, the hardest complication to create is anything that makes a sound. So this makes a chime on the hour every hour. And what we've done very unusually is we've brought the mechanism to the dial, so people will be able to see the movement of the hammer.
Wow. Because I remember the first time I saw a mechanism, like an open watch, and I was like, wow, that is amazing.
I mean,
people are looking.
I mean, you're quite right. And still today, in all of our sophistication as a society, mankind has yet to produce a piece of precision engineering as small as a mechanical watch. This is the most precise precision engineering mankind has ever produced, a watch movement. It's fascinating, isn't it? I mean, it's and as somebody who appreciates fine watches as you do, it's and of course it's in blue. So
lovely colour, the dial. It's great. Very, very nice. That's really gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yes, I really love that.
Well, we can put them
Great job.
on there.
I'm rather
The one
pleased with
lady.
that.
Put my name down, please.
Yeah, fine, yeah.
Discount?
For you, Frank. Yeah, if we win on Sunday, definitely.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks boss.
Yeah, really,
It
really
looks
like it.
fantastic as well.